we are going to do now, as you know, we'll be using our sun, our analysis for to calculate all this, uh, how many hours of sun is penetrating to the site surface that we are having here. So before we proceed, SkyDome can be turned off. So let's zoom in. The thing is, what we are going to do, of course, let me grab that Ladybug sun hours, and it directly works with the vectors coming from the sun path. So that's important. I'll be connecting my north to north, location to location, and I'll grab an analysis period for my voice. And also the scale can be 5, if I remember correctly. And what we've done for this is also we've put the dry bulb temperature as our data here. And we also visualize the vector, so turn this off, vector display, and sun points, anchors, vectors, vectors. So check this in as well. And the last but not least, obviously we have it already here. We are not changing anything from our initial subpath. So maybe we can change the color of it, and maybe scale can be something like this. I don't know, however it is, we'll be using the same data, so you won't be losing any information from that. So the first thing that it's asking us is let's start with really basics, the vectors, right? So if I hover over and then grab my vector, time step should be the time equal with the time step that we are providing as our OIS, hour of the year. And it starts with, January 1st till December 31st or 31. And the geometry, there are two types of things to be careful here. So the geometry that is asking is the geometry that we want to analyze. So in this case, it's going to be the site surface. And the context is going to be the obstacles. In this case, they are the buildings. So I connected both here. And the next thing is the grid size. So let's start with something really big. I don't know, like 10 meters for the grid size. And offset distance can be 0.1. Offset distance, by the way, the distance between the analysis surface and the original surface. Legend parameters, we already know this. We can pull out a toggle here and put it here. And let's see what we can end up with if I double click to true. So when I double click the true, it's okay. Polyline curve. Geometry must be either BRAP or a mesh. So okay, let's pull out a BRAP as an input. Probably that might be the issue. And let's make this false and delete this too. Take this as well. So it's asking for BRAPs. Maybe as I was defining the geometries, there are some curves which we already have. This is our site geometry. So if I make this true, it starts to calculate, but based on the analysis that you're running, based on the grid size, based on the offset distance, based on the time step vectors, it's gonna take some time to calculate how many hours directly penetrating to this surface. So since we have a lot of different vectors now, it's gonna take a bit of time to come up with a solution to this. But as you see, it took like 30 seconds to finish this. If I select this surface, by the way, and set display mode, what I can do is I can turn this into a shaded one. Sorry, from shaded to a wireframe one. Okay. Viewport active. No art viewport. No mode wireframe. But I want to see everything in shaded except this one. Set display options. mode shaded, mode wireframe. I don't know why it's not working in this way, but yeah, let's have it as shaded, and let's maybe turn this off. And if I come over to display mesh edges, if I turn off the mesh edges, now obviously what we are seeing is it's receiving a lot of hours of sun, right? Because we are basically receiving a lot of vectors. So if I make this false, and if we just wanted to see, like if we wanted to see, let's say only the sorry, only the equinoxes, or like the 21st of June, 21st of December, and so on and so forth. So if we put 21st of December, I cannot put it that way. Obviously, start month 12, and then I can say start date is 21. These are going to be the same. Starting our, let's say, morning, 6 till 21. I mean, let's say 20, or let's say 22, because we may have some sun towards the end of the day, especially during the summer. So end hour is this, end month is this, end day is this. So when I turn this on, you see that now I'm receiving a lot less vectors, you know, because all these vectors, you see, if I preview this on, you see that I'm receiving this amount of vectors. And if I turn this off now, preview this off now, preview this off as well. So what I'm seeing is I'm receiving like really like 9 hours over here, and because there are nothing. But if we check out our project site, so if we set print or print this, let's print display on so that we can see our project site as well. And let's make scale 5. But unfortunately we don't see it because it's purple, which is close to what we see. So when we have it white, you see we are receiving this. And one thing I wanted to show you here, if I make this 5, you'll see that I'll get analysis in a bit more details, you know. And if I make this 1, I'll get way more detailed analysis, because now it's basically dividing our site surface with squares that has edge length of 1 meter all over the place. Obviously, starting from 429 milliseconds, when I make it 5, it took 1.5 seconds, and when I make the grid size 1, probably it's gonna take sort of a minute or so to visualize the results. But you have to be really careful on this grid size, because it might be problematic to see the results. It may be too heavy for your computer, so let's make it 5, so that, as you see, it's, by the way, took almost 40 seconds, so let's have it 5. And one thing that I want to show you here is, like, if you come over to this part and if you say Ladybug spatial heat map, what this does is basically take out these like results as our values, mesh as our meshes, and you see it starts to visualize this. And offset, we don't need this one. Legend parameters, we can put a legend parameters here as well. You already know this, we can change the minimum and maximum, but we don't change it now. We can leave it as default, and we can change the colors for the color segments. You know, we can say, I don't know, 12. I don't know which 12 represents, but yeah, you see, the more we have the more red we have, the less we have, like we have greener areas. So the important thing here, imagine if we started to make comparisons, which is the subject of our next video. We need to compare this, right? We need to compare this, and when we compare this, what we are going to see is we should be having the same amount of hours all the time. So if you start with 0, it always needs to range between 0 and 9. So I connect this here, connect this here. And one other thing that I can do here is to maybe, right, like we can set this when we have a visualization set here, and we connect it, and when we bake this. Oh, by the way, when we say bake and when we see this problem, it's usually related with your Rhino, and you probably forget finishing an operation in Rhino. So I click on Rhino screen, click escape, exit from that particular command, right click to visualization set, bake as group, and now I have baked my data mesh. You see, data mesh geometry. And if I do everything off here, by the way, I can group this and I can group this as well. Oh, did I preview those off? Not yet, so preview them all off. Preview them on. You see we are having this like squares here. You can come over to here, display, and turn off mesh wires so that you'll have this kind of an image. And if we come over to our, I don't know, Arctic with all lines, you see we are having this kind of result. But the problem with this one is we didn't put any kind of text underneath this. So what I'll be doing is I'll be deleting this data mesh layer. I'll be turning this on, previewing this one, adding some info here, legend title, and legend title can be sun hours. And when I put this, you'll see that immediately here. And for the global title, we can say date, and we can concatenate, because what we want to have is date, and then we want to have the dates here, because you see it's showing the dates here. But what we can just put here is maybe 21st of December. And how we can do that, if we come over to analyze, construct data, other values interval, I think, analysis period, go to date type. And what we can do here is to grab the month, grab the date, grab the hour, minute, but we are basically interested in the date. So I think we are going to deconstruct this value by using, okay, let me really quickly check this. I mean, otherwise what we'll be doing is we'll be checking this date and maybe dividing that into dividing the text, but I want to find of deconstruct data. I think this is something we want, like this is not the data that we want to have. Okay, so it's basically having the information like that. So why don't we do as follows? So month and day, we can say, okay, month and day. So month, and then another one, put a point here. Month is always 12 for 17 hours a day. So why don't we have a list item? I'm trying to automate this process because we'll be using this process for something else as well. So if I connect this over here, I am just trying to construct the date information. So if I connect this to global title, you see date 12 of or 21st, 12/21st, sort of like US type of date information. But again, if you want, we can just we can put the date on top of this. Well, all in all, what the next thing that I'll be doing, by the way, is actually sort of a preparation for the next phase, but let's leave it for that next phase. And then let's leave things here. And I'll see you in the next one, in which we'll be creating animated GIFs for the presentations or your like client presentations or your project presentations at school, so and so forth. So I'll see you in the next one.